What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we're going to be talking about Alien Earth Episode 2, Mr. October. Now, picking up from the last events of the previous episode, episode 1, we get the interesting conversation between, I think his name is Dame Silva. She is the motherly figure, I believe more of the psychologist parent to Wendy, because she was looking at the Wendy when Wendy was terminally ill before she got into her new body. As well as Kirsch kind of being like the mentor. They're basically mentors to Wendy, but she's more like the human aspect of it. And so she has this really interesting conversation with Cavalier, I don't know, who's the CEO of Prodigy, who is kind of a rival company to Weyland Yutani, who we're very, very familiar with due to their presence in the films and the games, and as well as the books and comics. But he has a very interesting conversation with her, and I think probably one of my favorite moments in this episode, and it's him talking about how he wants to be challenged by somebody smarter than him. And I think that his passion for this, and he believes Wendy to be this person, even with the concept of him being, hey, even if I have to build this person, I want that challenge. And I think that was an interesting concept, and I think it actually put layers to his character. Look, he's a company CEO. Money is one of the things that he wants. Yes, he's at that point where, he's got more money than everybody on the planet, but at the same time, I like that that's an interesting kind of perk that he has. It's a little curiosity, a little quirk that it's just pretty cool. I didn't mind that. So that gave layers to his character for me in a lot of aspects. Also, there's also another conversation that he has with Weyland Yutani, the CEO of Weyland Yutani. I think that was actually an interesting conversation, and I love how the way that they speak to each other, because Yutani's like, okay, the ship is our property, we want to come retrieve it. Of course, the ship has all of these dangerous specimens on it. He gets intrigued because of the insistence, and he's like, well, it's in my backyard. Sorry, but you do what you're going. You can't really do anything. Your ship fell in my property. It's mine for the taking. And of course, they start talking about. He even says, hey, if you decide to come over here, we're gonna act like this is like a hostile act. And I like that because it felt more like countries talking to each other, and it just shows you how powerful these corporations are in this world. So I didn't mind that. I actually thought that, again, that's another interesting concept that was put forth. And I like the little dig that he said about that's what lawyers are for. I like how they showed that, like, the corporate world is just wow. So, we go back to Hermit and the other characters. Hermit is with two other people. They're walking around trying to figure out, okay, are they survivors? And there's this one sequence where they're walking and you see the xenomorph in the background. It's pretty good. It was a pretty good shot because I didn't see it. It was actually just kind of hanging there. But it's one of those scenes where it's there in your face, but until it moves, you don't really see it. So I thought that was actually a pretty cool scene. Then they end up jumping across this stairwell. They jumped across the little opening of the stairwell because one part is messed up, and so it's it's Hermit's turn, and he's hesitant, but then the xenomorph shows up. Very cool introduction. I was a little bit, and this is something I've seen throughout that episode. I was a little bit kind of iffy about this whole dynamic between Hermit and the xenomorph. Because again, you'll see it in the episodes later on in this episode. The xenomorph is hiding in this little hole right above him. And instead of it attacking him right off the jump, it kind of slowly, he's like looking up there and he can tell something's there. He got the gun pointed, and then he sees it. Then he runs, and it's a really good shot of him running and jumping, and the xenomorph leaps after him over this chasm, and they both fall. So instead of landing on the landing with his two comrades, he lands on the one underneath, as well as the xenomorph. He runs, makes it to the elevator, doors closed, xenomorph is beating against it. And it's an interesting scene. It was actually a pretty cool scene. And so we jump back to okay, yeah. So we go back to Wendy, and they're on their way because right now the guy, the CEO, Cavalier, I'm just having issues with that. He's like, okay, something's on that ship. Utani wants it. I want it. So Wendy is like, my brother is there. I want to go there. I want to protect him. So they have the brilliant idea, because they're synthetics with human minds, to test them out. This is going to be their test run. So Kirsch, her mentor, takes all of the hybrids, I guess you can call them. Yeah, they're all called hybrids. Takes all of the kid hybrids, and they go there. And it's an interesting scene between them. You see a bit of jitteriness. And I was a little bit on the fence, because when we see them, we don't see them doing anything, like kind of hanging out. We don't see them learning things. We don't see them training. You would think if somebody put kids in android bodies and stuff, they would be training them, stuff like that. This is, basically their version, like the Matrix film, the straight up Matrix. Hey, how does it feel? Like, we don't really get scenes of them learning how to be hybrids or whatever, and we don't really get to see the psychology of those characters. Again, most of this is shot from Wendy's perspective, and I would have liked to see more from the other ones, how they feel about everything. But so they all end up going, and Wendy is antsy. She ends up taking the blade off of a paper cutter thing. The paper cutter, I guess you know, because she puts it on the back, and I was kind of thinking to myself, that's oddly specific. Why would you use that as a weapon? And if there is something hostile on board or whatever, I don't understand why she took it anyway. No, I believe she actually saw the xenomorph on the footage. I'm not sure. It was something about the sequence, and she felt like her brother was in danger, and I felt like she did see the xenomorph. So that's why she brought that blade. But I was like, okay, why not just send guns with them? But they're kids, technically, and they still act like kids, and they had no training, so I was like, okay, cool. But it still kind of threw me off. I'm like, you're not going to do something kind of with that idea of them being kids and stuff. I figured they would start off as kids. There have been kind of like a time jump of them training a little bit, kind of like the Spartan program. But so anyways, we go back to what's going on with Hermit. He, ends up going to a different floor, and he ends up finding one of the other soldiers that is with his group. And again, this is one of those I hate this in movies, I hate this in TV shows, horror movies specifically, where they encounter a creature or some kind of threat. And I get the guy's scared, but he's not articulating himself in the best way. And I hate that. That frustrated the hell out of me. He says, hey man, have you seen a large animal? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, all you had to say was, we was on the ship, this creature attacked me on this ship. Have you seen anything crazy out here? He didn't even do that. So he ends up knocking on the door. I honestly didn't hear anything to determine that there was somebody in this, people in this room. But obviously in show, and maybe there was, I just didn't hear it, I didn't catch it. But he knocks in these weird people, rich folks, weird wealthy people at this week. So they're having a party, they're warning them, hey, you know what I'm saying? You might want to get out of here. There's a ship that crashed into this building. They're so eccentric, they continue to have their little ballroom 1700s party. Weirdos. But anyway, so the xenomorph shows up, and it's, again, it's one of those scenes where it's kind of hiding in plain sight, because there's a statue in the middle of this room, and then the xenomorph is posing with the statue in the middle of this little room, whatever, hallway, court, whatever it's called. And one of the best kills, the soldier is right there in front of it, and then, again, the guy is sitting here, sees the creature, instead of saying, I get it, he's scared, terrified. But I'll be like, dude, move! And he kind of warns the guy, and the guy turns around, and then it's a slow burn sequence, because the xenomorph is kind of like looking at him, about to pop him with the jaw attack inner mouth thing. Dude's got a rifle, and I'm thinking to myself, that's a hostile creature in front of you. I'm not trying to sit there and stare. Now, you could make the argument that, hey, any sudden movements, creature will pounce on the guy. But I was like, you can still at least be turning the gun towards it or something. So we get the second best kill. The thing literally punches the guy in his freaking mouth, and then just slinging his body because it's stuck in his mouth. And I was like, God, oh, completely brutal kill. One of the best kills in the series. So the xenomorph finally dislodges the guy. The dead body hits Hermit, who falls into the house. Or yeah, he fell into the guy that answered the door, opened the door. The dead body falls on Hermit. They all go through the door. The xenomorph runs into the room, lays complete waste to everybody in there. I've never seen the xenomorph kill that fast. I mean, there was a scene from Alien Resurrection where it ran and jumped into the shuttle lifeboat thing with the soldiers, but you don't see it kill them. You don't really see the kills on here either. Look, I appreciate the jaw attack thing to the mouth. That was a really cool scene. But you can't have all these dang alien kills where it's killing people on screen. You don't even see it. You hear all the screams and stuff, but you don't see it. So Hermit actually grows a pair, gets the soldier's gun after he finally pushes him off, goes in there to handle business, and gets ambushed by the xenomorph. Again, a really cool shot. I don't understand what is up with this man and his xenomorph and these cool shots with it jumping. But it's a really cool shot. And then the xenomorph, and the dude falls, the xenomorph takes his time getting to him. And I was like, Herbert just owns that plot armor. I'm like, I could like his character if he's a bit more competent, but it's like plot armor. This thing literally just ran up in here and wiped out a whole room full of people. Why is it taking this time killing him? But before you can kill him, Morrow shows up and tasers it. And I was like, cool scene. And then he changed the hell out of Herbert too. So I thought that was pretty cool. He webbed it, the xenomorph up, went to drag it back, got stopped by a bunch of soldiers. And I hate this part of the movies too, where there's somebody that sees a threat. They're like, hey, you know, there's like 5-6 soldiers or something, and they're like, y'all might want to turn around. There's a creature back there that's going to kill y'all. And they're like, don't put your hands up. And I'm like, dude, you got at least 2 people turn around and look or something. And I'm like, this man is trying to warn y'all. And then, again, it's one of those things where he was warning them, but he didn't say it out flat. Now, which he would have. He'd be like, hey, there's a creature right here. It's about to attack. And what happens? Turn around and we get another thing where it kills a whole room full of freaking people, but we don't see it. But I know we do get a really cool shot of it, kind of casing Morrow and not killing him. And I thought that was interesting, but I would like for it to be explained why it didn't kill him. I mean, the only other time we seen the Xenomorph do that to somebody that didn't kill him was Ripley, and she was pregnant with a queen alien. And I highly doubt he is. And I was like, well, maybe it's because he's possibly it doesn't know if he's synthetic or not. Because I've seen, if we're going by the games too, well, specifically Alien Isolation, the alien ain't killing the androids, but he's not an android, he's a cyborg. So I don't know. I don't freaking know. I think it's an interesting concept. I want to know why I didn't kill him. Although he did say something about fear, but then again, really? So that was a cool scene. You get the group, the hybrids. When did they get there? They end up getting into the ship, splitting up because Wendy's like, okay, where she hacks into the system, finds her brother, takes Slightly, which is the Arab guy, hybrid kid, dude, Indian, whatever you want to call him, and they go get her brother, and the rest of them go to the ship to go find out what's going on. She does manage to get there and save her brother. Not really save him, because by this time the Xenomorph's gone, Moro's gone. He's just laying there, just being a really not likable character. He sucks. I'm sorry, he does. Maybe other characters seem like a better character. But on the flip side, we do see the hybrid kid, synthetic people end up going into the ship. They see all of these aliens. We get to see two specific aliens. There's one that's hanging upside down and looks like a banana, and it looks like it'll peel at any moment. And then, again, they're doing that thing where they put their faces in it. Like, I'm not gonna put my face there. What's wrong with these people? And then there's another one that's it's an eyeball. It's an eyeball with a bunch of tentacles. We saw that in the first episode, but we didn't see what we could do. And it's in the body of a dead cat that got cut in half. And then it tries to attack the redhead girl, Curly, I think her name was. And they managed to get it off her and contain it. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Even though she's synthetic, it does a good job of reminding me that she's actually a kid, and kind of how their reaction to how the situation's going on reminds me of the kids and all that. So I thought those were pretty interesting sequences as well. We have this moment where Wendy's kind of alluding to the fact that she kind of knows him and has been keeping up with him, and then Slightly actually comes out and says, hey, that's your sister. They have a weird moment, and I felt like the Xenomorph, we don't know what the Xenomorph is right now. Maybe y'all should wait till y'all get to safety to actually talk about this. I kind of feel like that sequence was a bit rushed. It could have just happened later on, maybe the next episode or something, when they're around each other. But it was okay, I guess. But I think the execution of it could have been better. Maybe it's because of the chaos of what's going on in the show that it was dropped like that. But okay. Well, so they managed to go to the Xenomorph eggs, where the Xenomorph eggs are. Weird that the Xenomorph eggs was not dislodged, but I did my research on Xenomorph eggs. Those things are incredibly resilient. But then, so we get a moment where they're doing the thing again, where somebody sees these eggs, see something completely alien, and they gotta do this. What he does, and you can see the lips of the stupid egg getting ready to open, and the face hug about to pop out him in the face. I was like, gosh, finally kill him, because he's such a stupid character. I wish they stopped. Like I said, I want to feel sorry for him because, you learn he lost his pops, he lost his sister, he's stuck in his contract. You want this Ronald Root for him. He's just such a dumb character, a lame character. And then there's this shot where it's the camera zipping down the hall, so you're thinking you're seeing from the Xenomorph's perspective. But then when the Xenomorph shows up, it shows up on the outside of the room, on the other side of the room, in this big hole, and it ends up tackling Hermit out the hole, and then now his sister got to go save him. I like this episode. I thought it was good. I thought it added some layers to some of the characters. I thought we got some pretty cool sequences, brutal kills. That's what I'm in for. But honestly, the Herbert character, he gets on my freaking nerves. The soldiers, we don't still not really getting to see much of them do much of anything. We get to see a little bit more from the hybrid kid guys, see a bit more of into their inside of their characters and their personalities, which is good because I was hoping to see more from them. But again, I curse. I like his character. His character still is the best, and that's kind of, and based off the dialogue of what I did like the Cavalier character as well, and I do like Wendy as a character. But I do think she's a little bit too focused on the brother, and it kind of takes away from her. So ultimately, I did like this episode. I thought it did a good job of kind of taking things to the next level with the story and action sequences, and I definitely give this episode 3 out of 5. Anyways, guys, in the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts of episode 2. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Favorite moments? And by this time, hey, maybe you got a favorite character that's starting to brew. I already know what mine is. So, without further ado, I'll catch you guys later.